Okay, hi, we're back for part 3, and we don't know how many parts this is going to be, but we're videotaping weed work. Right now, the first thing to do, since this is a brand new XP 10,000E, 10,000 peak watt, 8,000 running watt generator out of the box, is, of course, you put on these stands, and turn upside down to put these stands on. You have to put on the wheels, but we're keeping one wheel off so we can get access to the carburetor when we do the conversion. And handles here, so it comes disassembled. You have to put the handles on, you have to put those rubber stands, you've got to put the wheels on, and you can see we put the axle of the wheel here. It's pretty easy to then put the wheel on and put the cotter pin through and a washer, but we're resting on it there. Then what you have to do before you start this generator, it does not come with any oil in it, so they recommend 10W30. The 10W30 that we got was from 7-Eleven, so it's pretty common. 10W30 motor oil. And you unscrew just like any engine or generator, you unscrew this cap here and pull it out, the dipstick, and you can see a lower rim there. It says do not overfill, and it says that it should contain no more than 1 liters. Now this quart is 946 milliliters, so you're pretty safe there. So we were able to pour this in. The generator did come with this funnel and this clear tube. But as you're putting that oil in, be watching that it doesn't go over a little bit. You can close that back up. And you should change this oil, I think it's, gosh, you'll have to look at the manual how often you have to change it.
1 year or 20 cycles?
20 cycles was it?
Or 1 year?
Or 1 year.
Whichever.
20 cycles or 1 year, whichever comes first. Then the gasoline we put in here, although it's going to be a biogas generator, we always put some gasoline in, though you don't want to let it sit with gasoline for a long period of time, because gasoline absorbs moisture, even when it's sealed, and it sort of goes bad. So you'll want to come in and run it occasionally. And the first time you have to run it for 10 minutes before you do anything. So before doing the conversion, we're going to run it on gasoline and make sure that it's broken in, that the oil in the crankcase has had a chance to go through, and that's a 10-minute run. And so, but we only put in 2 gallons. You can buy these really nice gas cans at 7-Eleven, the 2-gallon cans. They cost about $20. And what's nice about them is that when you take this little cap off here, it has a tube to let the air back in, so it doesn't go into siphon lock. And it has, so you can drop this on here and fix this on. Then it has this nice sort of ratchet here, so it kind of clicks into place, so you can't accidentally unscrew it and cause a spill. You'd have to press this when you want to take this off. You have to press this down to get this off. So it's a nice design for that $20. The other thing is that it has this little click here where you click like that, push the red button in, and then press down to release the gas. So it doesn't have a flexible hose, because flexible hoses tend to break, and then you get gasoline everywhere. So this is a straight hose, and you might think, like we did when we first set up the generator, you might think, well, how do I easily or safely get that gasoline in? It's going to be spilling all over when I pour it. But what happens is it is actually locked until you get to this position. Then you press on this red button, hear it click, and then pull back with your finger, and that then releases the gasoline. We're empty now. You can see there's a little bit of gasoline coming out. And then you let it go, and it locks again so that it will not spill as you turn it back. So that's a nice little feature from these, like that. See that there? Not obvious, and it doesn't say anywhere on it how to use it. And if you don't want to look it up, just know that that's the deal. That little red thing gets clicked in, and then you pull it back. So I always aim it to pour, push this in, pull back, and that opens it up, and then it starts to drain. And then when you want to release, when you're done, you go like that, and it locks, and it will not drip anymore. Then when you're done, we just started with 2 gallons for this, then press this in to unlock it, rotate it, pull this back, drop it inside very conveniently, put the cap back on, seal it down again, and then close once again, and you're pretty safe with that. So that's just standard generator operation, but you got to do that first before you do your conversions. On there, you hear that click. At 2 gallons, we're not seeing anything registering here in the fuel gauge, but that's okay. And then we want to get this started. So what you do to start it is you come over here and you make sure that the circuit breaker is off. You got your, if this is an automatic start one, we'd already opened this up, by the way, and connected the battery. When you buy it, the battery's the battery's negative terminal to ground is not hooked up, so you're supposed to take these open. Stop it. Don't go near the battery. Nowhere near the battery. Danger, danger, careful, yeah, danger, danger, no, careful, no, do not touch. Danger, danger, that is dangerous, yes, danger, careful, go the other way, go to mommy, okay? All right, stay away. Anyway, so this does have a pull start on the other side, but if you're going to do a biogas conversion, we recommend you get a generator. We recommend you get a generator that has an automatic start with a battery, because you're going to end up ripping this cord out or damaging trying to start on biogas. In fact, we tend to start on gasoline, and once the engine's running, then we turn off the gasoline and switch over to biogas. That way we get a good start every time, especially when you're using a pull start. But this has the automatic, and you might be able to get it with starting directly on biogas. It just turns out that biogas is a wet gas generally, unless you've desiccated it, filtered it through, and it's hard to start directly on biogas a lot of the time. So having a tri-fuel generator is a good idea. Having a little bit of gasoline that you can start on and then switch over. And of course that could be ethanol that you start on. I mean, there's other fuels that are cleaner than that gasoline that you can start on. But that's how we do it. Now, when you first want to run it, as we're doing today for the first time, we're going to close the choke. So there's the choke over the carburetor. We're going to close that. And you see here it says closed right there. We're going to turn the fuel on. Fuel on is in the downward position, so the fuel is down into the carburetor. And then we are going to keep the circuit breaker off, and then we're going to start it. But the kids have got to be away. Kids have got to be away. Got to take Mike, take them all over there. Goodbye, kids. Stay away. Carbon monoxide. So we want to let you know, it says here, danger. Using a generator indoors can kill you in minutes. Generator exhaust contains carbon monoxide. This is a poison you cannot see or smell. Never use inside a home or garage, even if doors or windows are open. Only use outside and far away from windows, doors, and vents, and children. We got to get nice wind blowing this way, so we're okay now. Want to keep the kids away. When we run it on biogas eventually, there will be so little carbon monoxide that I've actually been in places, one in Shenzhen, China, where they ran the generator indoors and it was not good ventilation, but it didn't cause us to feel dizzy. It didn't cause us to put our noses right up to the exhaust, because biogas, biomethane, releases carbon dioxide and water vapor and possibly trace amounts of carbon monoxide. I'm not saying it's a good idea to be indoors with a biogas generator, but you're not going to die. At least we didn't, and nobody I've ever known has died from running a biogas generator. When you're using the gasoline, it can kill you within minutes. So people commit suicide, right? They close the garage door and turn on the car. But a biogas car wouldn't. So if that's the way you want to go, don't use biogas in your car thinking you're going to commit suicide. So it's a lot safer. All right, so here we go. So we've got that circuit breakers off. We're going to turn the engine, start it. Once it's started, look at the time. So it's 3:55, so I've got to run it until 4:05. All right, so we're going to run it until 4:05. What we want to talk about now is the right way to use a generator, whether you're running on gasoline or propane or natural gas or biogas. And it goes to a story of when I was in Guatemala doing my research, building a solar-powered dreadnought plantation, research lodge, and the poor woman on the corner of the street in Macanche every evening was selling tortillas and tamales, and she would start her generator as soon as the sun started going down, start her charcoal up to make the tamales and the tortillas for her barbecue, and then she'd plug a light bulb right in there, and it was a 60-watt light bulb, and she had a 4-kilowatt generator, and she's running 4 kilowatts with this noise and this smoke, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and the soot, and she's running it just so she can see, poor lady, to sell her tortillas, but nobody can hear, and everybody's choking as they go waiting in line to buy her excellent food. We tried then to help with the NGO, saying what she needed was one of these. Now this is a deep cycle battery. This is coming out of the DC here and here. And put these in. And then we charge your battery. So now let's go over here to the That's back on. So let me face that way. So let's talk about this for a second. When you're burning any fuel, gasoline, propane, natural gas, biogas, diesel, in an engine, you've got a lot of energy density in that fuel at a considerable cost. A cost in environmental sustainability, a cost in health, a cost in safety, a cost in political stability. And you got all that fuel, and you're running it, and it's putting out up to 4 kilowatts, or in this case 8 kilowatts per hour. And you might only be using 60, 100, maybe even a microwave, 1,000, and maybe use the microwave for 15 minutes. And I've seen homes in Nigeria where to keep prowlers away, we'd all go to sleep and they'd start up the generator because the electricity was always going out in the city. And just to run safety lights to keep criminals or prowlers away, it would run all night long, and none of us could sleep. And the fumes were always going in the house. And this is common for many people in parts of the world where you don't have a reliable electricity grid. It certainly will happen here in Florida when the grid goes down because of a hurricane and people turn on their backup generators. And we know people often die because it's raining outside, the hurricane weather, it might be cold, and they bring their generator in the garage and they run it, and the fumes go into the bedroom and they're dead in the morning. So there's a lot of problems with this. What you should be doing is using that 8 kilowatts to charge a battery bank, and then after you've filled your batteries, depending on what size battery bank, this is 100 amp hours times 12 volts, so that's a 1.2 kilowatt reserve, right? You also get 2 batteries that have 2 kilowatts. So this generator in 1 hour could charge 8 of those batteries, which could then give us 8 kilowatts overnight, which is a lot of power. We're not using that. So it probably would take us 1/8 of an hour approximately. So what are we talking there? We're talking about 7 minutes. 7 minutes would charge that battery up, and then that would give us a kilowatt for an hour. So we could use the microwave 4, 5, 6 times, or run that light bulb if it was a 60 watt. That's one light bulb. 12 hours. Or if it's a 3-watt LED super bright light bulb, then just do the math. If you have a kilowatt, you can run that 3 watt, that's 1,000 divided by 3. So that's over 300 hours that you could run a light bulb, a good efficient light bulb. So think about that. In the amount of time we're going to run this, just to keep the energy, start the generator, warm it up, and get it lubricated, we already will have generated a kilowatt of power. Then we want to turn that generator off and use the battery. Now at Rosebud, we've just, thanks to the Elizabeth Moore Foundation, we've gotten 2 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries that have much more cycling capacity than lead acid. And we have up to 10 kilowatt capacity that we can run with that. So we could run this generator for a full-on hour, charge that system up, and then have that 8 kilowatts, 10 kilowatts to play with, not just all night, but maybe for a day or two when the power goes out. But we would never want to run this for a day or two. So if hurricanes knocked out our power, the last thing we're going to do is use up all our gasoline or our propane or our natural gas, or in our case our biogas, and run it for a couple of days to keep all the lights on, to run the computers. We would charge the battery bank, and we do have one of these backup generators on the solar resiliency cart that we're building at Rosebud. And that's what Michael Cosgras from North American Solar Power Works with us is making as the recommendation. The backup generator is there to top off the batteries. The solar is there to top off the batteries. There's a grid intertie to top off the batteries. Grid goes down, we use the solar top priority to charge the batteries. Batteries get weak, clouds come over, it gets night, it turns on the generator to charge the batteries. When the batteries are full, generator goes off. Use the batteries down to 50% of their cycle, generator goes off. Okay, that's the right way to use it. That's what we're recommending. Never run your generator to power your loads. Always get a battery bank and keep building on that. Look toward a battery-powered future where the batteries are maintained by sun, wind, generators running on various fuels, a bicycle, micro hydro. We're looking for a battery future. Thanks.